Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. Still the morning crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Kofi Bartels. Please join us as we talk about a very important topic and subject. I did promise you that we'll be having a chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators with us on the program this morning. And we'll have a conversation, long-awaited a conversation on the increase in telecoms tariff with the licensed telecoms operators joining us. Tell us your side of the issues. And of course, our guest this morning is the chairman of the association, that is the licensed telecoms operators of Nigeria. He's Mr. Gbenga Adebayo. He's an engineer and he joins us live via Zoom. Mr. Adebayo, can you please enable your video so we can see you? We're streaming live around the world. Good morning to you, sir. It's great to have you finally. It's been a busy period for you, but good morning. It's good to have you on the program, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right. Can you enable your video so we can see you? But for those listening, please call us on the number 0201-277-0993. 0201-277-0993. That's the number to call, and we have also our female line 0201-465-7190. 0201-465-7190. WhatsApp number for your messages only is 08095975805, 08095975805. Mr. Adebayo, let's start by taking the reaction of the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria to the decision by the federal government via the Nigeria Communications Commission to allow your members embark on a maximum 50% tariff increase.
Thank you for having me, and once again, good morning. The request we made to government about consideration for sustainable tariff is to be due to the economic headwinds and the challenges that we have been facing as an industry. As you do know, prices of all commodities have gone up. Our own cost inputs have gone up significantly, from cost of diesel to cost of public power supply to cost of procurement, to the devaluation of the currency, and all of the factors that makes up our cost input have all gone up. And in the last 12 months, we have struggled significantly in getting the networks up and running. And our request to government is that for the interest of sustainability of the industry, there's a need for us to price right. The rate we were charging does not reflect the cost of providing services. And there is only a limit to which you can sustain charging below cost for a time. You can't do it in perpetuity. In that regard, we got very concerned about the sustainability of the industry. And so, according to the provisions of law, we approached the government for tariff review to enable us to charge and price right so that we can continue to provide services. And thankfully, the government approved a 50% as against the 100% review that we asked.
All right. Do you accept?
We are pleased.
Okay. Go on. You're pleased. Okay. That's what I was going to ask you. So please go on.
We are pleased in the interest of the industry and the larger economy. Because if the industry is not sustainable, it will compromise our ability to provide services for the public. And we are the infrastructure of other infrastructures. If we go out of business, a lot of other services that are dependent on communication services will be impacted. Be it banking, be it transportation, be it medical, be it education. And so in that regard, we consider ourselves being pivotal to the economy. And the more we are able to sustain the sector, the more we're able to power the entire economy.
All right. You were asking for a 100% tariff increase. You got 50%, and you say you're pleased. I'm told that the last time the telecoms tariffs were increased was in 2012. So that's been some time coming. Can you please tell Nigerians, Mr. Adebayo, why the details, why the tariffs had to go up? For instance, you've talked about the economy, but what were the difficulties your members were facing, or the issues your members were facing, that you guys got together in a meeting and said, hey, we need to take it up?
The high economic headwinds, in particularly cost of energy. Last year, a liter of diesel was sold at less than 500 naira. Today it's going at 1,000 plus. Petrol was less than 600 naira. Today it's going for about 1,000 naira. We know what has happened to the exchange rate. A lot of the components that are used on the various networks are foreign exchange based. Our obligation to international providers are foreign exchange based. Our obligation to foreign carriers who connect us to the world are foreign exchange denominated. And so if you look at all of this, along with other socioeconomic factors, we became unsustainable. And therefore, the need for us to approach government for a review. Now, we haven't done so for profit motives. I must make that very clear. We've done that request for review for reasons of survival and sustainability. So it was actually for us more of a survival mechanism than any other thing.
All right.
And if you look at the economy in general, I mean, prices of everything has gone up. We're not saying ours should follow the same trend, but the fact remains that all other industries whose prices have gone up, they are in the same socio-economic situation as we are in. We all face the same economic headwinds. We all procure things from the same open market. And ours have become a lot more difficult because we provide services 24/7 across all places across the country. Logistics alone is a major problem, even for those who provide self-site services for the operators. Imagine the logistics of having to deliver diesel across the country 24/7. Challenges of access, challenges of security, high cost of transportation, and all of the external factors that we confront.
All right, Mr. Adebayo, interesting. I'll put our callers through shortly, those who are your customers. It could be argued, and we had the chairman of NATCOM, the National Association of Telecom Subscribers of Nigeria, here in the studio. On the program. He joined us virtually, just like you are. And he said on behalf of the subscribers of Nigeria that there are ways of, the telecoms operators making the money to sustain themselves. And the telecoms tariff should not be more than, by my calculation, everything amounted to about 40 kobo per minute of phone calls, or is it per second of phone calls increase. So we're looking at 5 to 10% instead of the 50% that you have. And as far as concerned, if you do 5%, that's sustainable. But what do you say to that?
No one will invest in a sector that is making losses. And we have said that over and over again. Yeah, it's interesting to talk about approaching investors or going to the stock market. But I'm not sure even you will buy stock of a sector that is dying or that is set not to be sustainable. That's the first point. The second is, I did say something last week. You have someone that is in intensive care, just like we have been as an industry in the last 12 to 24 months. And they say he requires, for argument's sake, 100 liters of oxygen to survive. I say again, hypothetically, someone is in intensive care, he requires 100 liters of oxygen to survive. You say give him 5 liters, give him 10 liters. What have you done? You are only going to extend his or her life by another day or two, and then he or she will pass away. So we're saying that for us to survive as an industry, this is what we require. And government, in its wisdom, has looked at all the variables to balance our sustainability with the socio-economic demands and the challenges of the people. And they say that it's a 50% that we work at this time. So the best we can do is to take that, make the most out of it, show some improvement in what we are doing, show some effort to survive, and then we can then go back to government and see where we are afterwards.
Well, you're talking about, your members making loss. I believe, because I've heard Mr. Toriola speak a lot on this, that the likes of MTN, Globalcom, Nine Mobile, and Airtel are all part of your members of your organization. Talk about the major telcos, as well as others, who for want of time I can't mention. MTN declared a profit after tax in Q3 2024 of 4.1 billion naira. and you're talking about loss. They declared profit, and for the entire, I think the entire 2024, 9 months for the 9 months ended September 2024, they had I think 514.93 billion naira, but for Q4 2024, Q3, it was set to be 4.1 billion naira. So if an MTN is making that amount of profit, why are you talking about loss, Mr. Adebayo?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure your hypothesis is right. I'm not sure.
It's
not
a question.
Sure. They've said their numbers went up, but they are still in negative. And again, I can't speak to that because I don't work for that particular provider. And I think when you have the big boss on the call, you can also put that to him. But I'm not sure your hypothesis is right. They have said, the numbers went up in terms of traffic, but in terms of cost input and bottom line, they came to a minus because of losses due to foreign exchange depreciation. And so we need to get it right so that we don't put the wrong information to the public. And you see, we are talking about numbers and figures. I mean, numbers and figures don't lie. The records are there. I mean, also those are publicly quoted companies. Their results are available on the public portal. And therefore, I think hypotheses of saying that they've made this huge profit is not necessarily correct. They said that their numbers went up, but they had losses on account of foreign exchange devaluation, currency devaluation. And I think we should get that right. But I can't speak to the details of that. When you get the boss of MTN on the call, you can please put that to him. But I do know for a fact that what we have seen in terms of performance report is that, yes, the volume of traffic went up, but the bottom line came to negative due to high cost of devaluation in currency.
Are you as telecoms operators not concerned about what Nigerians are going through at this time? Record inflation. We have a record increase in petrol prices that following the removal of petrol subsidy, affecting every other thing in the economy. Reduction in purchasing power, and generally economic struggles the Nigerians are going through, unemployment, poverty. I was listening to an Indian government official talk about how many millions of people Narendra Modi has lifted out of poverty in Nigeria, talking about how many millions of people President Bola Tinubu's policies, I know you're not here for politics, but there's a fact, have plunged into poverty for now. Maybe they will see results later. So are you not concerned that Nigerians are going through a lot, and we as telecoms operators say we'll make life harder for you? Mr. Adebayo.
We are very concerned because don't forget that we are also within the same socio-economic framework. While I'm a network operator, I'm also a consumer of other services. My family are also consumers of other services, just like yours.
But you don't sound like you're a consumer of other services. You're justifying making life harder for the average Nigerian.
Let me finish. We need to look at sustainability of the sector. Our industry, we are not responsible for the global economic crisis. We're not responsible for the problems of the average individuals. Government decision and socio-economic situation of the world has brought us to where we are. And therefore, our sector cannot be the subsidy for other sectors. We cannot be the palliative to cure the problems of people whose challenges are arising from other situations and decisions not made by us. We need to be sustainable to be able to support other sectors of the economy. So, we need to put the emotions away. If telecom services collapse today, we'll have a problem in our economy. And look at the effort that has been made by government in the power sector to improve on power. In spite of the investment and the reinvestment, they are still where they are. We are still where we are.
Mr. Adebayo,
we don't want a situation where telecom services become epileptic. You have services in the morning you don't have in the evening. And if you don't invest in the sector, this is what you will have. So what we are saying is that our request for review and the circumstances we face is a matter of having to remain sustainable and to continue to provide services for people.
Okay.
So we are not unaware about the problems of others face, but we are not responsible for those. We are also victims of the same problem.
So Mr. Adebayo, you are telling Nigerians that you as telecoms operators you're not the one who caused the economic woes. So Nigerians should look for those
Absolutely not. We are also victims of it.
So Nigerians should look for those who cause their woes and hold them accountable. But you, how would you call corporate social responsibility? Yes, you not say, we didn't cause your poverty, so we can't help you. You go out to help people, despite the fact that you're not the cause, because you are all corporate, you're responsible corporate citizens. So how about corporate responsibility?
You can talk about corporate responsibility when you survive. It's contingent on one fact. The industry must remain afloat. If you have a sector that is dying, you can't even talk about, you need to talk first about survivor. You need to talk first about how do we survive? How do we remain in business before you can talk about providing corporate social responsibility to other people. And the scale of what we are talking about is not a matter of CSR. And I must also say to you, look at times ever since other things have gone up. Look at the time we had the first shock in currency devaluation, the time we had the shock in energy costs. We continue to provide service at the same rate since 2013. We have not had a tariff review since 2013. So more or less, a school of thought would say we have actually been subsidizing the services we are providing for people in the last 24 months. A school of thought will say so, and they will be right. Because if we've had the same price regime since 2013, we've had the economic shock of more than 24 months now, we are still charging the same rate up to the moment, even now that I speak with you. More or less, we are providing subsidized services for the public. Right. Because we also could have flipped the switches and say, guys, we can't continue, we can't survive. We also could have carried placard and say, guys, we can't continue because it's difficult for, like many sectors did. But we continue to support the economy in spite of the challenges that we face. So in this regard, I will say that we have more or less provided subsidized services for people in the last 24 months because we've been selling below cost.
Well, let's see if the listeners agree with you. But I'm not saying that it's CSR. I'm just saying that, social responsibility is part of what you do, in your corporate activities. But
we are still not failing to do all of those in spite of the problems that we are facing. Yes. But we are only saying that there's a limit. There's limit of elasticity.
All right.
And as a sector, we have gone way above our limit of elasticity in the last 24 months. When all other prices have gone up, and ours have remained the same since 2013. Right. I say again with the emphasis.
Okay. Well, you've said it like 3 times. We want to put our listeners on the line, and I see some calls coming through, which couldn't pick earlier. 0201-277-0993. Pick a call or two before we go on a break. We have the chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria, Mr. Gbenga Adebayo, with us on the program, The Morning Crossfire 99.3. Good morning.
Good morning, Kofi.
Welcome.
Mr. Adebayo, good morning. This is Kenny. I have 3 items to share, and maybe he can, address them. Number 1, why is it that Nigerians kind of feel like we are the fall guys here, that we're the soft target? The banks are owing you guys a lot of money, but you don't seem to be aggressively going after them. That's number 1. Number 2, I hear from the grapevine that the telcos provide robust pro bono services to people in the National Assembly. Do they need those kind of pro bono services? Can they not pay for their services? And number 3, it appears to me that the approach you all have taken is an extremely short-term, very, very, very unsustainable approach to this matter. You all need to go back to the drawing board and see how you will, just like it's done in the Western
we have
crime.
To go for a break.
See how, right quick, see how, I should.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Hey, this dollar wahala now, wow. Everything just dey expensive. Na true, but make we look am well, my brother. See, your shoe na from Italy, your shirt na from Turkey, your phone na from China, your car na from Japan. In fact, everything wey dey your body so na import to the import am. Abegi, how that one take consign dollar? If price of dollar go come down, e get many things wey we suppose do. Like wetin? Number 1, we suppose dey export pass how we dey import. Number 2, we suppose dey buy more made in Nigeria products. Number 3, make we support local business. And number 4, if you wan send dollar and other foreign currency enter Nigeria, make we dey use international money transfer agents.
Hey, what you dey talk dey make sense o.
Oh, country people, make we join hand reduce the pressure on our naira, grow our export market, and increase forex inflow. Na our hand e dey o. This message na from Bankers Committee.
Everybody gather round. Come and hear the news in town. From the kitchen to my heart, every single body's a thrill. With every bowl I share, I find more reasons to love. Come on and make a joyful sound. Golden penny pasta, hearts taking over millions of hearts. Let's go, golden penny pasta. More reasons to love. Golden penny pasta. What's your reason? Oh. Tell me what's your reason? My sweet spaghetti is rich in protein. Tell me what's your reason? It tastes great, it's full of good nutrition. Tell me what's your reason?
There are more reasons to love every plate of Golden Penny pasta. The delicious and nutritious choice, enriched with protein and fiber for you and your loved ones. So, what's your reason? Golden Penny pasta. Great taste, good nutrition.
Mama, they don't dash me 20,000 naira woof.
My pikin, who they dash 20,000 naira for this kind time?
That they dash everybody will get smart cash account 20,000 naira.
You mean them go dash me 20,000 naira a woof too?
Yes, so mama. That they dash all old and new smart cash users 20,000 naira a woof.
Oh yeah, tell your yard people make them dial *939# or download Smart Cash app to open their own account. Make themselves enjoy 20k a woof. Every time when you buy airtime or pay bills with Smart Cash, you go chop inside your 20k. Terms and conditions dey sha.
I don't see my own woof. Oh.
Smart Cash, powered by Airtel.
Every person in my life deserves breakfast. Brother me deserves all the nourishment he can get. Mama Nkechi Nko, she has such a big heart. She deserves a breakfast that can nourish her. And let's not forget my little sister. This Peak Mini is just her size.
There's nourishment for you with the Peak Mini Pack. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot speaking. Today we have some special passengers on board. 3 Betano members are going to England to watch Aston Villa live. Congratulations, Emeka, Yemi, Ibrahim.
Play with Betano and stand a chance to win an all-inclusive trip to the UK to watch live the big game of Aston Villa versus Tottenham. Betano, proud partner of Aston Villa. Play responsibly. Available only to those over the age of 18. The promo is valid from November 1st to February 28th, 2025.
In the cooking game, you need a winning game plan. I'm not just talking about your fresh ingredients, utensils, or cooking skills. I'm talking about your choice of seasoning. Your game plan is incomplete without Maggi chicken flavor. Made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric, it's the game changer. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, the game changer.
To all our heavy-duty engine vehicle and big generator owners across the nation, we salute you. It's a tough job, but you have to keep those heavy-duty engines running. Here at Total Energies, we've been innovating for more than 70 years to offer you Rubia engine oils adapted to all types of heavy-duty engines. Rubia provides more protection against engine wear, offers longer oil change intervals, and delivers fuel economy benefits to your heavy-duty engine. And what's more, Rubia products are tested in all types of conditions and approved by more than 200 major heavy-duty engine manufacturers. Experience Total Energies premium lubricants through the years.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info. Is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. It's still the morning crossfire right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Kofi Bartels. We're still joined by the chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators, Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria, Alton, engineer Gbenga Adebayo, and we're talking about, of course, the telecoms tariff increase. We're looking at the side, the story of the telecoms operators, having spoken with the Telecom Subscribers Association and its chairman last week. Of course, we all know that as Nigeria's telecom industry grapples with sustainability challenges, like Mr. Adebayo has said, a 50% tariff hike for the end user services has ignited mixed reactions amongst Nigerians. Well, while telecoms operators view the increase as important for the sector's long-term viability, other subscribers, labor unions, and other groups, consumer groups, are arguing that it disproportionately impacts the public, especially the workers who are already struggling with rising costs and struggling to make ends meet. Well, Lagos today, we're looking, of course, at taking this conversation further. And, of course, like I said, Engineer Gbenga Adebayo is with us, chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria. I'm sure he's had a lot to say over the past few weeks or months, talking, to the media and stakeholders in his field. 02012770993. Please call that number, 02012770993. And, of course, our female line, 0201-465-7190, 0201-465-7190. Streaming live on Facebook. Head to Nigeria Info's Facebook page, search on Nigeria Space Info Space 99.3, or you can type in your browser facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. And of course, we're streaming live on YouTube. Search for Nigeria Info FM on YouTube. Don't forget today, one place giving away 25,000 naira to 2 lucky players of the lottery. All you have to do is get to the website www.oneplay.ng, the number 1 and the word play together, oneplay.ng. All right, get to that website and you click on the box that has a Nigeria Info logo and click to play. Each ticket costs 500 naira. The more you play, the more your chances of winning, but please play responsibly. And you just might be the winner of 25,000 naira this morning. Alternatively, you can dial the USSD code, and it's interesting, I'm talking about USSD when we have the telecoms operators here. Star 347 star 880 star 3 hash is the number. Star 347 star 880 star 3 hash. When you press send, of course, you fill the prompt and you pay, you can buy a ticket or more. All right, Mr. Adebayo, before we went on the break, and thank you very much for your time this morning. Before we went on the break, can you ask some questions? 3 of them. Number 1, why have you not gotten your money from the banks? Telecoms, the chairman said on this program last week, sir, that you can make enough money from the banks if you collect your USSD money from them. They remit it to you to survive and to thrive. The second question she asked was about pro bono services you render National Assembly members. She said she heard from the grapevine that to give them free airtime and free data. Why are you giving them free services and then collecting money from Nigerians? And number 3, she talked about the interest rate and the exchange rate. What can you do to impress on the government to do something about it, because it's affecting you and affecting Nigerians? Mr. Adebayo.
Well, thank you very much. On the USSD, the problem is being resolved. We are not yet there, but we're thankful that our regulator of the banks, the CBN and NCC, they have come to intervene in that matter, and that's now been addressed. And we are hoping that we can have resolution and full closure in a few weeks or months. So that's been addressed. But I must also add that even if that debt is paid in full, it will just be a drop in the ocean, I must say. Given what is required as a sector to survive, even our high cost of doing business, that will not solve the problem of sustainability that we're talking about. And I think that's important for me to put on record. But thankfully, we are seeing some light in that regard. Hopefully, we should be able to resolve it in a matter of days and weeks with our colleagues from the banks. On the pro bono services provided, I must say very loud and clearly that we are business people. We don't provide pro bono services for anyone, and I want to be quoted on that. We do not provide free services for anyone, either in or out of government. We are not a government entity. We are people who are highly regulated. As an industry, we are highly regulated. We are highly responsible corporate citizens, and we do things according to the provisions of law of the country. We don't provide pro bono services for any group of people, whether in private or in public
Mr. Adebayo, are you saying on record, in response to Kenny's question, that none of the network operators in Nigeria gives free services to National Assembly members?
No,
but how do you know? When I asked about the Q3 profit of MTN, you said
these are ethical issues. These are ethical issues.
But you're not in any of these companies. So how are you sure?
I represent the association, and I know the principles of governance that operate within our members. These are significant ethical issues. We can't come to public radio.
Yes.
Sorry, can I finish? We can't come to public radio and make an assumption that certain people are getting certain benefits without facts. I'm sorry to say, I completely disagree. We are a highly regulated sector. We are highly disciplined people. We have significant ethics and corporate governance principles that we follow.
Yes, you're talking about corporate governance. It's not the first time that we hear or we see around the world that members of a particular sector, I'm not mentioning anyone, I don't know where Kenny got her information from, but it's not the first time we will see members of a particular sector breach any ethical or corporate governance rules or whatever. So wouldn't it be best for you to try and find out from your members? If
there's nothing to find out, because I know what I know. I mean, and you see, but
you don't know the Q3, but you don't know about the Q3. You refuse to comment on that, on the profit of one of your members. So you say you're not the staff.
So what I don't know, I don't know. But what I know, I know. So what I don't know, I won't claim to know. But what I know, I know. So what I cannot substantiate, I cannot say it's what it is. So but the fact that I know is that we don't provide programs for anyone, not in private, not in government. And again, I say as a matter of principle that we are very ethical businesses and we do things only according to the laws of the land.
What is unethical?
So on the third issue,
before you go to before you go, sir.
Yes, please.
What is unethical about saying, hey, I have my business. I want to give you free airtime. What's unethical about that?
It's not an acceptable practice.
Why?
It's not. Can I come to you on your radio and demand of you to give me free airtime? Do you do that there, by the way?
We have the prerogative. It's our prerogative to say, hey, we want to sponsor. Yeah. We can sponsor.
But do you do that in your station?
Of course, we can
give free airtime to people.
We can sponsor Alton. Yes, if you write to us, or even if you come, you can even make a phone call. The business, the managers can say, okay, well, for this one, we will sponsor.
Okay, so you grant solicitation. We don't. As an industry, we don't. And our members don't.
Okay,
we don't offer pro bono services for anyone.
Why is
I said it's a matter of principle.
Why is
principle, ethics, and governance?
Yes. So why is it unethical, sir?
It is unethical because you will compromise the integrity of the institution.
Okay. In what way? If you're talking about national,
and that's not something that anyone should encourage. Yeah, you will compromise the integrity of any institution that you address like that. And I think it's also not okay. Permit me to say you can't insult people in high places by making unfounded allegations like that.
So
it's an insult to the
what will you
to the integrity of that institution.
Okay, I accepted. What will you say if to any such hypothetically, if there's such an organization that does that anywhere in the world? What will you say of such an organization in the telecom sector that gives free services to members of the parliament?
Well, I can't speak to organizations that I don't know. Our sector that I know, which I lead as the chairman and the representative, I know we're not involved in unethical practices as such.
Hypothetically,
we don't do so, and we should not insult the integrity of a government institution by saying that people get things that are not even to be discussed.
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, if that were to happen, how will you describe such a company?
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
All right. I believe Kenny is satisfied. And to a third question about the interest rate and exchange rates.
Yeah, we are also victims of the exchange rates. We're also victims of it. And we join in the appeal to government to ensure that it is stable in the year. I can't, there's no advocacy we can make to government. Government see more numbers than we do. I mean, we look at things from different points of view. Government see a lot more than we see. And so our appeal to government is to do all that they can within means to ensure that the exchange rates are stable. But certainly we can't bring any pressure to bear on government in that regard.
All right.
And the problem the problem the public faces about the instability of the exchange is also what we face as an industry. So we're also victims of that.
How did you get to a point where the banks are owing, a lot of money to the telecoms operators in the form of USSD, unremitted USSD money? How did we get to that point? How did you get to that point?
It's a fairly long process, but again, since I said earlier that the matter is being resolved, I think it's something we should just take out of public discussion, actually. But the matter is being resolved.
All right, let's get to some phone listeners who want to chip in on this. 99.3, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
All right, welcome. We have Mr. Gbenga Adebayo of Alton. Please go on. Your name.
Yeah, and Gbenga, good morning also. Yeah, KB.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, nice one for Nigeria Info. You see, the truth of the matter is this. Like, there's some, can we mention this of the telecom companies? KB, is he allowed?
I would like to give Mr. Gbenga, breathing space, since he's not here to represent any of them.
Okay, then. Fine. Some of it, like in Nigeria here, the telecommunication came into Nigeria, and Nigeria was the first country. Quote, Nigeria was the first country for them to hit 100 billion naira back then when they came into Nigeria. And you see, one thing is this: it is always wrong. It is always wrong to be robbing Peter Paul. Fine, your arguments with him, I agree. But since we are dealing with businessmen and politicians, we should know they will definitely know how to answer our questions. But the truth of the matter is, the money they have been making off Nigerians, because the problem in the television says that the time they came into Nigeria was a time that it was people fast spent for them to have come in. So the rate at which people rushed at them, the interest was very, very high. So go to other countries. Other countries have been enjoying this telecommunication set far back before Nigeria even knew they were going to enjoy it. And the way it came into Nigeria, the way people started rushing to get the sales they made when they came into Nigeria is very, very on the high side.
Okay, so
why?
So what are you saying? Are you saying they made enough money when they came in that they don't need to increase their tariffs again? So,
no, not that they don't need to increase, but they should be considerate of the, because you see, a businessman will tell you he is making loss, assuming he's about to make 100 naira in a profit. He makes 90 naira. A businessman will not tell you, but he will tell you he made loss. That is their curriculum vitae they use in calculating their money.
All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Mr. Adebayo, what's your response to that? He said that, you should be considerate of Nigerian subscribers because your members have made a lot of money in the past.
I'm happy that he said in the past. So you can't judge by history. You can't say that the history of the sector says you made money 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And so you must make losses for another 5 to 10 years. No business survives like that. And nobody invests money to lose money. So even he who has asked the question, I know from what he said, he must be a very good businessman. And he knows that he will not remain in losses for 2-3 years consecutively without thinking about something else to do with that type of business of his. So the thing there is that we cannot, because of history of yesteryears, history of 20 years ago, 22 years ago, and say same parameters must remain today. The money you've made 20 years ago, therefore you should not increase rate today. First is that even if you look at the time value of money, if you kept 100,000 naira in the bank 10 years ago, and you bring 100,000 naira today, convert that to today's rate, what do you get? So, looking at all the parameters, we've been talking about sustainability of the industry, and we need to be very careful when we talk about investment. A sector can only thrive if we continue to invest and invest. Look at what is happening in the energy sector. For the best of effort, in spite of the separation of people to different service bands, the infrastructure can support availability. That's what you are seeing. For the best effort that the discos are making, because a lot of the infrastructures have come of age, they've come to end of life, they can't even withstand the pressure of availability. And we don't want to come to a point where in the morning you have services in Surulere you don't have in VI. In the morning or afternoon you have in VI you don't have in Ikoyi, and vice versa.
All right.
And if you don't invest in the sector, this is what will happen.
All right.
So for you, for example, you will say to yourself, because services are available in VI, you must make all your calls before you leave home for your house in Sule in the afternoon, or vice versa.
Okay.
And we say for us to have availability, we must continue to invest and to reinvest. Some of us are here long enough to witness the end of life of Nitel in those days. It started just like that.
Okay.
There will be services in the Korea exchange in the morning. You won't have in VI exchange. You will have in Sule. You won't have in Investec.
Okay.
And until everything
Gbenga, please stay with us. Thank you very much. Interesting explanation. We have a call on the line. 99.3. Good morning.
Good morning, Kofi.
Welcome. Your name, location, and contribution, please.
My name is Patrick. I'm calling from Okota.
Okay.
I want to say good morning to your guest. Then, on the issue of this.
Sorry about that, Patrick. Please call back. 99.3. Good morning.
Good morning, Kofi.
Welcome. Your name, location, and contribution, please.
Yes, my name is Tony. I'm calling you from Ikeja.
All right. Go on, Tony.
Yes. You see, as a matter of fact, in as much as the economy is biting on everybody, the telecoms, we Nigerians need to consider their plight. Yes. We should center our complaints and frustration to the policymakers that bastardize the economy and makes everything difficult for everybody. So I don't think a businessman is running a charity. That is my take. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Like you said, it's not a palliative. 99.3. Good morning. Okay, while we wait for the next call, Gbenga Adebayo, your thoughts on the stance of Nigeria Labour Congress, who was saying, of course, that sorry, please, they will embark on a boycott of telecom services if the tariff hike is not reversed.
We need to look beyond just labor agitation. We need to look at the impact on Nigerians. Imagine today you wake up in the morning, your phone is fully charged, but you don't have services. Just imagine. Imagine the world trying to reach you, but they can't reach you because services is not just available on your phone. And this is where we were headed as an industry if something is not done on our tariff. So it's their right to agitate, but we must look at the facts before us. Both for our actions and inactions at this time, there are consequences. If we take no step, the networks will collapse. That's for an inaction. The actions that we have taken for the benefit of the future, you have just said now that the labor union are reacting to it. But the fact is that who was consulted before prices of petrol went up? Who was consulted before energy prices went up? Who was confronted before the price of Bonfita in Okari market went up? This time, 2 years ago, we were flying Abuja for less than 70,000 naira. Today, it's about 180,000 naira. Who was consulted before these prices went up? And so we can't take all of these indices and say, you know what, it is against those people, not against the operators, because we are not operating in isolation. We are within the same economic ecosystem as all other industries that have reviewed their prices. Even poultry. How much were we buying a crate of egg a year ago? How much is it sold today? A loaf of bread, how much are you buying a year ago? How much is it today?
So what?
A sachet of pure water, how much were you paying a year ago? How much do you pay today?
So what you're saying is...
So parameters leading to these increases are also the same situation that we face.
All right. Interesting. So in other words, where was labor when the policies that have led us to where we are were being implemented? That was probably when they should have channeled their energy to... not when people who are in the system are now trying to adjust to the effect of those policies. I think that's what you're trying to say in other words.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anyway, I won't argue with you on that. I'll go straight to the next caller. 99.3, good morning.
Good morning, Kofi. Good morning, sir.
Welcome. Your name, location, and contribution, please.
Permit me to be not to call my name because I'm a part of the content.
Okay.
I want to ask that our guy, why are they not paying the security people? The security people securing the site well because they are paying us 10,000 naira every month. What can that done do to the person that is securing your company?
Wait, security people where?
securing the site. No, the 10,000 naira is the payment.
Which site? Which site? Is it the way you have the mask?
That is the network site. The network site.
Where you have the mask?
10,000 naira is the site. That's the network where they map their mask. They pay the 10,000 naira.
Okay, per day or per what?
For two people.
Per day?
Per month.
Per month. Okay. All right. Thank you for your time.
For two people. Let me answer that question.
That's outside our conversation. But Gbenga, you want to respond to that, please?
I have no comment, but there are outsourced companies that are used to provide services for the various providers. I'm not sure many of our members employ security men directly. So you hire a company to provide you with resources, with security personnel, and then he has a contract between himself and his personnel that he deploys for the services. So that may not be a question for us, but for me, but I take that as a feedback to some of my colleagues, maybe to check what happens with their security service providers.
Okay. All right. Interesting. 99.3, good morning. Hello, are you there? Yes, your name, location, and country region, please.
Yes, Mr. Daniel from Ikoyi.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, Daniel, go straight on.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Daniel. Time is ticking.
Yeah. What those people they are saying, we are just begging them. They should help us to fix this country. All of us, we know all those things that is going up today. Everything that is going up today, we know that it is because of the petrol. It is cost a petrol high price that costs everything today. So all those things, all these things that this man was saying, that this and that, they just come to on here to deceive us. They should please to fix this country for us.
Thank you very much for time. That they don't the government. Go speak to the government for that. 99.3. Good morning. Yes, sir.
Good morning. Coffee better this one.
Yeah, you called earlier, right?
I called.
All right, thank you very much. 99.3, good morning. Are you there? Okay, try one more time. 99.3, good morning.
Coffee Butters, good morning.
Yeah, your name, location, and country. Yeah, you called earlier.
I greet your guest.
Yeah, did you call earlier today?
I didn't call earlier. I haven't called.
Okay, please go on.
I greet your guest.
Yes.
Well, I want to ask, telecommunications, they've increased their tariff 50% to their subscribers. Now, you ask one question, why banks owning telecommunications? And your guest let it be confidential. Why confidential? Because for over 2 decades, they have not increased. Now, the public, why should it not be public discussion? Why should banks own them? Maybe this is the reason why they increase their tariff. Why are banks owning telecommunications? So I want to know.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Adebayo, the ball is in your court.
Yeah, if I get his question right, he's asking why the banks are owing the telecom providers.
And he's asking.
The question?
Yes.
Okay, first is that I didn't keep that as confidential conversation. We've come on open radio to say the banks were owing us for services we provided that they didn't pay for. And part of our argument is that banks debit you for USSD services when you do a bank transfer, where you check our account balances, and they simply were not remitting this money to us. So I was just saying that because the matter is being resolved, I do not want to bore the public with the details of what has happened. But the fact is that we were being owed several billions of naira for services we provide for the banks, and the banks didn't just remit the money to us. That's where we are. But it's been resolved. I mean, we've had an intervention of government at highest level.
Okay.
And I think that in the spirit of good order, in the spirit of resolution that we have had, we all should just wait and see that matter fully closed without bringing it to public for further debate. That was what I was trying to say.
Mr. Adebayo, how much will we be paying for phone calls and going forward? How much?
Again, the providers don't charge the same rate because we operate within price bands. Be depending on your provider, but you should expect a 50% increase in what you pay currently.
All right. NatComs is saying they're going to take you to court. Just in a sentence, what's your response?
We haven't done anything against the provisions of law, where we follow the process provided by the Communications Act of 2003, and all what has taken place has happened within the provisions of law. So we have no concerns about any challenge to that decision.
Gbenga Adebayo, Chairman of Alton, thank you very much for your time on the program, and we will stay with you as this story develops, sir. Thank you very much.
I think it's important for me to just make one last.
Mr. So, teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, torn uniforms, and dirty shoes, they show.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.